You need to have boundaries, but you also can't live in isolation.
The moment bitterness takes part, you will not heal.
Yeah.
And accepting the situation.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with friendship. Am I accepting what is happening here?
Yeah. You need people that's going to keep you accountable, number one. You need people that's going to correct you. And you need people that's going to motivate you in the same way that as much as you can correct me, you can say to me, listen, but I see this potential in you. I can see that you can do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of PoweredUp Talk with me, Ezelle. Today I have a special guest with me, someone who I have the honor of calling my friend, or is it more she has the honor of calling me her friend. She is Maite Kanhukam. You're coming this way.
Well, I like to spice it up a bit. There's just a bit of flair with my surname.
Maite is a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's the founder of Tufted, and she's also a seasoned IT professional. There's so many titles to this phenomenal woman. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's just an amazing woman, but she is my friend. And today we're going to be speaking about covenant friendships. Maite, welcome. Thank you for making the time to be with us today. It's an honor, it's a privilege. And tell us a little bit about who you are.
Thank you very much, my beautiful friend Ezelle, who has the honor of calling me friend. So Maite is a beautiful young woman who loves the Lord more than anything, saved by grace. And I am a lover of life. I love to hike. I used to run. I love running. I still try, but a few years ago, I did a full marathon. COVID happened, and life happened, and yeah. So I'm married to a man.
Of course you are.
Whom I have 3 children with, and beautiful girls. And I love being a mom. I'm a very present mom. I love being a wife. I love my job. I'm in IT, previously in human resources. And I think that's the beauty of life, where you can be whoever you want to be. There's so many opportunities in life. I shifted from HR to IT, cybersecurity, not just any IT. And I recently launched a business, Tufted Joburg, that's the name, and where you basically create your own custom rug. You just hold a gun and it's got yarn, and then you can design whatever you want. You can go crazy. You can design your face, your wife, your children, whatever. So that's me in a nutshell. And I love my friends. I'm very intentional about friendships. I guess that's why she decided to bring me here, because I'm a very good friend, intentional friend I am.
That you are indeed. And you actually hit the nail on the head, because I think that was for me something. So just a bit about me. I am someone that's always kind of kept to myself. I didn't like necessarily getting people too close by. I always felt like I needed to keep people at a distance. And it worked for me, because I'm like, okay, you've got your life, I've got my life. We'll see each other when we see each other. That's been me. I think I've always used the excuse, I don't have time for high maintenance friends. I don't have time for people that want attention all the time. And and I think a part of it comes from a space of me not wanting to give too much of myself, I'll give you a bit, just enough, but not any further than that, And then comes along Maite, which is this person. Why haven't you responded to my messages yet? What is happening? What is happening? And this is not good friendships. And I think you really challenged me on that friendship level. And you would come to me and you'd say to me, no, listen to this. Girlfriends are important. You need to make time for your girlfriends. And I think you really were the one person that started challenging me around friendships. And I think I'm not the only person, because oftentimes I'd speak to other women and they're like, where do you even have time to still make time for friends? I mean, with work and everything, who still has time for that? And I think it's such an important conversation to have, because life does get busy. And in the busyness of life, we do tend to neglect whether it's even our marriages, any relationships. And it's so important to be intentional, because nothing just happens by itself. You have to be intentional about what you do. And I thought this is the perfect conversation to have with you, because friendship is a big part of life. So yeah, let's talk about friendship, girl.
Yeah, and on that note, guys, she would take 100 years to respond to WhatsApp. And my thing is always, people make time for people they want to make time for. I honestly believe that. The fact that you're online and I'm sending you a message and you have read it, fine, you're busy, but honestly, 2 days, 3 days, it's not normal. I feel like...
I'm sure I'm not the only person, and it's not intentional. It's like I responded in my head.
No, I
in my
disagree.
head, I responded, and then I just forgot to physically respond, and then, yeah.
Once in a while, look, we are adults. We don't want to be petty. We don't want to be petty. Yeah, you can forget, respond in your head, but then you come back, you know. If it's someone close to your heart, and I think this is the thing with women. If it's a man, oh my God, you will respond literally running on a rail of a train. You'll check your WhatsApp and respond to a man.
You'll even check.
You'll
Has
even
he
check.
responded to my message? Did he read it?
You know? But with friendships and women, we just like, oh, whatever. Oh, I'll respond when I have time. And it gets, human beings are creatures of habit. It gets to a point where it honestly feels like, but I'm making time for you. I understand you're busy, but later in the day, come back and say, hey, I see you called me. So what's happening? Because what happens when I don't respond? Mm-hmm. I mean, you tell me, what happens when I don't
overthink it, honestly. And I think that's partially why sometimes for me it's like, they'll respond when they have time. And if it's really urgent, I'll call you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's always been my thing. If I send you a message and you don't respond, I'm like, okay, maybe she's busy. She'll read it when she has time. And if she doesn't, I'll call her, because I'm that persistent type of person. If I need an answer, I need an answer, and I'm going to call you, you know? And I think sometimes I've maybe expected that, but I realize not everybody's the same, because I've had other people say to me, but friend, you can't just be, you know, or let's go out. I'm like, no, you know, and I think somehow it was always a protective mechanism for me, I think, in a way, because it's easy to get people to only see a part of you, but there's a part of you that you want to cover up, and you're like, no, you can't come beyond this.
Yep.
And I think for me, it's like you put it behind boundaries. And yes, you have to have boundaries. Nobody says you mustn't have boundaries. It's an important part of life. You need to have boundaries, but you also can't live in isolation, because
True.
you know, no one grows in isolation.
No man
and
is
you
an
need
island.
people that can challenge you. And you also don't want friends that is always going to agree with you. And that was another thing that I liked about you, is that, you know, you get these friends will say, no, that was fine. That was good. You're not that person. You're going to be like, no, what you did there was wrong. You know, and you need to fix that. And I don't like what you're doing that. And I think I like that, because you need people that's going to keep you accountable, number one. You need people that's going to correct you, and you need people that's going to motivate you in the same way that as much as you can correct me, you can say to me, listen, but I see this potential in you. I can see that you can do this. And it brings me to the thought of the life of David and Jonathan. And when you think of covenant friendships, for me, they are like, they are the matriarchs of covenant friendships.
Mary, Elizabeth.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because if you think of the life of Jonathan and you think of the life of David, Jonathan was the guy, Saul's son, who was busy pursuing to kill David. Yet he protected his friend. You know, he risked family, he risked his life to protect a friend. And it brought me to the thought of, how much are we willing to sacrifice for our friends? How much are we willing to fight for our friendships? You know, if I think even in marriage, you know, oftentimes people would ask me, how is it that you've kept your marriage, you know, and you guys have been married for so long? And if I think of it, it's work.
It's work.
As much as we'd like to say it's all glamorous, but it's not. It takes work. Like any other relationship, it takes work. And I think for me, I'm learning even that friendships takes work, and you need to be intentional about how you develop that.
Oh, that is so powerful, my friend. And I just want to add back to that WhatsApp thing. Look, I'm not saying people are busy, and you cannot base relationships on things like social media. It is toxic. So the base of what I'm saying is, when people love you, please don't be petty about it. Call back after 2 days. Call back after a day. Yes, they're busy, but are you calling back to say, friend, I missed your call. I was busy. X, Y. Let's pick up from where we left off. Because the thing is, what I've picked up, and look, when you're saying it comes from somewhere, Ezelle, for you to put that boundary. Boundaries are good. Yeah. Boundaries are important. But I realize how toxic friendships have gotten. Oh my God. You know, I go into comment sections and people are cutting people off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, I can't do this. People, it's toxic, it's painful. And I mean, you look at David and Jonathan, that had God in it. That was destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? The power of friendship, the power of unity, the power of how God can change a nation through friends.
Yeah.
The power of how God can change our lives.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I think of how you've imparted in my life, I'm like, oh my word. I mean, just when we were coming here, we were praying, and I was just, something shifted in the spirit, you know, and I was just like, I'm so blessed to have a prayerful friend, you know, and I don't take that lightly. We should not take that lightly. Just because I'm giving you time, just because Maite is loud, she's an introvert, she's not always okay. Call her, are you okay, friend? You know, we have to carry each other. You cannot pour from an empty cup and always expect me to be pouring all the time. Oh yeah, Maite is the loud one. She doesn't mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. I need to be checked on.
Yeah, it's mutually,
It's mutual.
Exactly. But I liked what you said there is the importance of checking on someone, because so often, you know, and you're right, it's like a trend. People say in 2026, I'll reach out to those who are reaching out to me. I'll visit those who are visiting me. I'll do for them. And it's like, but that's not biblical.
That's not.
That's not what God says. God doesn't say you good to those who are not good to you. You love those who don't love you. You turn the other cheek, you know, and
Exactly.
that, and I think if you look at 2026, it's, no, we're cutting you off this year. But what if that person is actually going through something?
Exactly.
You know, I was actually watching a podcast the other day about two ladies, and they were just sharing their journey of friendship. And she was saying the one day she just knew something wasn't right with her friend, and somehow she just reached out, and she didn't answer because her friend didn't answer the phone call. She didn't, you know, she was just ignoring her. But she knew something's not right, and she went to her house. And when she got there, it was a sight to see. But I mean, to what extent would we do that when someone's not listening to our messages or not responding? Are we going to just, okay, I'm cutting you off? Or are you going to take the time and actually go to that person and really see where they're at? Maybe they could be suicidal.
But friend, sorry to
interject.
Is it not depending? I mean, I think it's, I don't know, I hear you. But I think there just comes a point when someone, in some cases, where people are tired, I've invested so much, I'm always the one calling.
Yeah.
I'm always the one saying, let's do this. If I'm your friend, if I'm your friend and you're not okay, should you not be able to call me and say, Maite, I'm not okay? That's one. But if you're not doing that, I think as the other friend, I should say, no, she normally is like this. So let me just, girl, what's happening? That's
exactly it. If she doesn't normally, like if it's someone that doesn't normally ignore your messages, but now they do, then you should know. But if it's a consistent thing of you always initiating, I actually saw when Dr. Caroline Leaf, she posted something the other day, and she was saying, she was talking about friendships as well, and she was saying, you must actually test this and see for a while, if you're not the one reaching out, especially with certain people that you feel you always have to initiate, that's a different story. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a difference. You need to now check, am I the one that's always reaching out? Am I the one that's always saying, let's go out? And if that's the case, then you need to make a decision. Then you need to step back. I'm going to take a step back. But if someone has always been, and there's a change in their personality and now they're not responding, you can't just be like, we're cutting you off.
Yes.
You know, you also need to use discernment because maybe that person is a really low space in their life and God could just use you to pull them out. I mean, I think of the life of Jonathan and David. Jonathan taught David to fight. He prepared him to take his place. I mean, Jonathan, if you think of it, he's the son of a king. He should be taking over the reins from his father. But here comes someone else that God has anointed. And this person, you know that this is my replacement. Can you imagine? I must train up my replacement. I must show my kindness to my replacement. Protect my replacement. Can you imagine the heart that you have to possess? Where you really take a step back and remind yourself, this is not about me, there's a bigger picture.
Yes.
You know, and I think even for me, I'm learning that even in friendships, there's a purpose. Covenant relations, there's a purpose. And it's about what are we building. You can't just, for me, I'm at a stage where I don't want to do casual relationships. Because casual relationships build nothing.
What is your definition of a casual friendship to a covenant?
So for me, and I'm not saying this is correct, this is my interpretation and my understanding of it. Casual relationships are the people that only are there when it's good times. Let's go hang out, let's go drink, let's go party. They're just there in the good times. They're nowhere to be found when you're going through difficult seasons. They don't develop you. They're the ones that's first to get jealous when you're growing and you're building, or you go to them and you say to them, I've got this vision, I've got this dream. No, man, they want to joke. Do you remember what you did when you know, that for me,
Gaslighting and all
yes,
those
exactly.
sly comments.
It's not friendships that develop you, that build you. You know, for me, covenant relationships are exactly the ones that are going to pray with you. They're going to challenge you. They're going to pull out the potential in you. Because ultimately, for me, if I think covenant is what God has joined together, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's in a business, whatever it is that God has united you for, it's for a greater purpose. And you need to be united in a purpose. And you must know that even in the times that you get offended, because I think even just if I think from church life, you could be serving together in a church community. You could be brothers and sisters in Christ. Then the lady offends you. No, I don't want anything to do with them. But do you know, we need to also learn to jump over offenses. You need to, if you think offense, for me, it's like the first thing when offense comes, you must learn to jump over that fence. You can't still take it because you build bitterness. And it's so easy to build bitterness because this person, you need to address it. If this person didn't greet you or didn't do something, go speak to them about it. Yeah. Tell them you didn't like it. Don't just harbor it in your heart and no, if it's something that's bothering you, be able to go speak to your friend and say that, I don't really like this, and get a different perspective. Maybe they didn't see it that way. But I find sometimes we become so offended for nothing and we just give up on people when God could have had a bigger purpose in that relationship. But we allowed offense
to take over.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I told myself is that I am going to be a non-offendable project. Because it's easy to get offended. It's really easy. And to do that, you have to be mature. You have to be better than your flesh. Because, if we are of God, if we are Christ-like, we have to have the character of Christ. Our friendships have to be principled. They have to come somewhere, right? So, Christ was beaten. He was accused for things he did not do, but he kept quiet throughout. So that teaches us and he was not offended. In fact, he prayed for them and said, Lord, forgive them for they know not what they're doing. So for me, when I sit down and I think of all my relationships, my friendships, because friendships play a big role in our lives. Fine, I've got a husband whom I love, but there's so much power in sisterhood. I have seen that. And I always say to my friends, every friend of mine, the one thing I must do in their lives is they must know God better through me. Whether it's in their prayer lives, in how they talk, in how they perceive things, in how they view things. So that means that in our conversations, Christ is going to be the center. In anything, it's about openness. It's about, but what is the purpose of this friendship?
There we go.
If God is not the center, the friendship is not going anywhere. But Christians, again, can be toxic. They can be so narcissistic, they wear this code and I'm a good friend, I'm what. How do we deal with such people? If we are friends, Ezelle, and something happens and I'm like, remember there's two sides to a story and then there's the truth.
There's three.
There's three sides to a story. She always likes to correct me. This is another problem that we need to fix in this friendship.
No, I'm not correcting you. I'm just giving my interpretation of the difference.
Clock it, she's right. Three sides to the story and then there's the truth. And this is the thing why people are cutting themselves off. And then there's the hypocrites who take the stories and say, you know what, Ezelle, you are right. Maite is wrong. She is such a bad friend. And then that's where the cutting off starts. Right? My side, your side. But then there's the truth. Are we mature enough to come to the truth to say, you know what, I love this person. I know Ezelle's heart. There's just no way. Friend, can we talk?
Yeah.
Pride is breaking friendships. Friend, can we talk? You're not better than me. You're my friend.
Yeah.
We are growing together. I don't want to go through this life without you. Why do we do that with our spouses, but not with our friends?
That's so good.
You've played such a big role in my life. I appreciate you. I know your heart. I want to do. I want my kids to think of you. I want you to be the role model of my children,
Yeah.
That's when I turn 60, when I turn 70, friend, I want us to grow old and walk that mountain, achieve our goals. But then it ends. It ends like we've become strangers.
Yeah.
And I hear people saying, things happen, maybe the train ends here, but they're just those people you just want to grow old with. I don't know. That's just my take. I think, and it just becomes, when people have good hearts, they're always taken advantage of. When friends are pouring into you, it's not that they have no other options. It's not that they don't have other friends. They just love you. They love you. They appreciate you. They've seen your heart. They want to do this life thing with you. Just be thoughtful of your actions. Be mindful when you speak. You know, you were saying, I like to speak my mind. I'll tell you, Ezelle, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, the boundary is respect.
Yeah.
As much as how comfortable.
It comes from a place of love. And
a place of love. There's that word, that English word, it's running away from me. It says familiarity. Familiarity builds. Familiarity builds something. So, okay, so sometimes when people get used to each other too much, they
disrespect you.
They sort of like disrespect. That element comes because now we just say whatever, you get the offense, whatever.
Yeah.
That's another problem. We have to be mindful. As much as I can say certain, I need to respect you.
Yeah.
No matter how comfortable and familiar with you I can be, the respect must always be part of the foundations of friendship.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You
But
know?
I also just want to touch on something that we don't often talk about is friendships that breakups.
Oh, friendship
because
breakups.
people are always talking about relationship.
I'm wanting a friendship, guys.
Yeah, like, and the reality is that these things happen and they hurt, and
Oh,
you need
my
to,
word.
you know. But it's just like you would mourn a relationship with your partner. You need to mourn these friendships, but in a way, in a healthy way, that
Okay.
you don't become bitter. That you don't become like, I'm never opening myself up again.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe how have you navigated that journey of mourning a friendship and healing from a broken friendship?
Sure. God. So, you know, there's someone that I'm still trying to navigate and figure out what happened here. A friend whom I love was a sister whom I think I don't know, Ezelle, how to navigate a break up friendship, because maybe it's just something you never. I think when it hits you, sometimes denial kicks in.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, but I'm an adult. What am I breaking up? The only breakup is from my exes. Why am I breaking up with a friendship? You know that those friendships that just disappear.
Yeah.
Like you moved and they just slowly, you know. But the friendships where you were sisters, you were there when I was giving, you know, when my children were born. You were just beside me.
Yeah. Through every season.
Every season, you were a sister.
Yeah.
So those type of friendships are painful. You mourn them like you mourn a breakup or a divorce. Maybe not the intensity, because divorce comes with other things, but it's painful. I'm still trying to figure out how do you navigate that? Because I think healing is first coming to a point of accepting the situation and not being bitter. Because the moment bitterness takes part, you will not heal.
Yeah.
And accepting the situation.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with friendship. Am I accepting what is happening here?
Yeah.
And what is a healthy way of ending a friendship breakup? It's always silence. We're not talking to each other.
Yeah.
There's this side. I think it's respect. Respect the silence that's there. And sometimes I think, Ezelle, it's just different. You know, sometimes people reach out. The other one is trying to reach out. The other one is like, I'm done. I think that's the painful one.
Yeah.
The other one still wants to continue the friendship. The other one is like, nope, pride, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm done with this friendship. I think that's something I'm trying to figure out. How do you then break up? What is the breakup?
Yeah.
There was never assurance. There was never clarity. There was never nothing. So I've never had a friendship breakup, but I think I'm assuming it's just come here, let's have coffee. What's wrong? Okay, X, Y, Z. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry, or maybe it's because of X, Y, Z. And then if things are not going to be the same as godly children, as covenant friendships, I think covenant friendships and worldly friendships should be handled differently.
Yeah. I forgot how much you talk.
Yes, and this is my space, so yeah, thanks, friend, for being saying that.
I'm looking at the time and we need to close off, and I think I need to get you here again to continue this, because there's so many questions I still have around this topic, because it is it's an important discussion to have, and just how to grow our friendships. But thank you for being the amazing friend that you are and for who you are. Just in closing, what are your closing remarks?
Love your friends, pray for your friends, walk with them, love them, pour into each other, and let Christ just be the foundation of your friendships. Love yourselves above the noise. We are better than that.
I love that. I love that. And I think for me, it's also just a reminder to extend grace.
Yes.
We are all a work in progress. Nobody's perfect, but also learning to extend grace, the same grace that you would want to receive.
Amen.
Extend that same grace to the next person.
Love that.
And yeah, we're learning, we're growing, and let's be real, let's be authentic, and let's be the friend. Like the Bible says, you as friendly has many friends. So let's sow what we want to reap in our friendships. But thank you for being with us. I appreciate
it's a pleasure,
you.
my friend.
And
I'm
looking
so
forward
glad
to having
you
you
have
here
me in your
again.
life.
Yeah, what an honor. What an honor.
What an honor to have me in your life.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to PoweredUp Talk with me, Ezelle. If you'd like to be part of more conversations that empower, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, PoweredUp Talk with me, Ezelle, as well as our Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.